steroids, the steroid use.
Yeah, he was just yoked. He looked like he was doing a bodybuilding show.
Look at this guy, dude. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about some jiu-jitsu players, the most prevalent, the most famous ones, and their training and what they do. And I'm joined by William Tacket. William is on his way to the ADCCs, the biggest grappling tournament in jiu-jitsu right now. Are you excited for this, William?
Beyond excited. I don't think that there's been more exciting moment in my life, so I'm just ready to get out there and showcase some cool jiu-jitsu.
So I also have helped William in the weight room before. So we're gonna look at two of the biggest figures in jiu-jitsu, and they are Andre Galvao and, of course, Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan's been on Joe Rogan a ton of times, and I think when we look at Gordon Ryan and we look at Andre Galvao, we see steroids, the steroid use. I mean, we see two of the greatest grapplers of all time, two of definitely up there in the GOATs, but we do see steroid use. And what I want to know from you is, like, how prevalent is it? How does it work? Do they test? What's the deal?
Yeah, so it's actually an unsanctioned sport right now. So, nothing against them, being able to utilize things that are not necessarily illegal. ADCC does not test. The only organization in jiu-jitsu that tests is the IBJJF, and they only test like a few of the guys that win the tournament, not even everybody. So it's pretty unsanctioned for the most part.
Yeah, it's not an Olympic sport, so it doesn't have the pressure to utilize WADA at all. And this is what I was thinking about, man. If I had a kid who, like, if I had a son who was playing football, American football, and there are a ton of guys using PEDs there, and the forces that they can create are much more violent. They're just much greater because of the use of performance-enhancing drugs. It kind of sucks to sit there and be like, well, I'm just going to do things the right way. I'm going to sit back and do everything the right way because it's against the rules. Meanwhile, I'm going to get smashed by these guys who aren't getting drug tested. So I feel like sometimes it's like fighting fire with fire. Obviously, you don't take any performance-enhancing drugs. He's 21 years old, and his testosterone is definitely high. He's in a weight class right now where it's like, I don't know how much more muscle you could pack on to get into that weight class. But it is something to consider, is it not?
I mean, if I was moving up in a weight class, then I would probably need to take PEDs unless I just got a little bit older. Because as of right now, like cutting down to 77, this is like the biggest my frame can get to cut down to 77. And I'm just like not quite big enough to meet the 88 kilogram category because it's like a huge gap. So maybe once I get older, then I'll be able to pack on the muscle. But if I wanted to get to 88 now, I would have to take steroids. And that's just not something I've considered. It
is weird to see. This sport is rife with steroid use. And if we watch Andre Galvao in ADCC's 2019?
Yeah, he was just yoked. He looked like he was doing a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, I mean, like his traps, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing footage right now of his trap. He's just throwing people around. We also have Gordon Ryan. Look at this guy, dude.
Man, it's insane. I mean, he's clearly already physically gifted with like a lean and stacked body, but it's just insane.
I don't want to say like stage ready for a bodybuilding competition, but like pretty damn close. Goddamn scary. Okay, so this is really cool. So basically, he grabs with his zercher, explodes up, steps back. So it's like, I've done zerchers with you and the guys, and the reason I love that is it's kind of like, it's the same energy system, same thing as like drilling takedowns. So you would get up, you'd grab, take him down, step back, get up, grab, take him down. And what I tried to do with you guys a couple times is I would have people do explosive high pulls, step away, come in, explosive high pull, and try to get like 20 in a row. And the reason I like that is because you would get, and I like this, is you can get a ton of reps, and you can honestly get more than body weight. You can get more expression of power than you would having been drilling. So in that way, you can make adaptations for the mats rather than just doing the specific work.
Yeah, I mean, you can get like extraordinary gains where you can't really like pick up heavier and heavier bodies. I guess you can, but it's way more realistic to use weights, right?
It's like efficient, right?
Yeah, it's more efficient. It's just more realistic to use the weights and to get reps there where it's a little bit safer than like throwing around actual bodies.
What's he doing here?
Yeah, we've done this workout before. This workout's great. You just pull the rubber band back, someone yanks on it, and it simulates you like holding them in a front headlock choke or like a body lock, and them just like trying to squirm out, and you got to hold it really tight.
The different grips utilized in grappling are like very important to utilize, and you can use them in the weight room as well. There's the S grip, gable grip.
There's like tons of different grips. You can like hold over your own palm. You can even do inverted palm to palm, normal gable grip. You can do S grip. There's like so many different, even wrist to wrist. Like
I like the wrist to wrist one. You can squeeze the life out of it.
Yeah. If you get your hands locked around someone's like waist or even a little bit higher up where their sternum is, you can just like crush them.
Oh, I really like this. So this is kind of like explosive rotational stuff. And we got cleans. Not bad at all. The one thing I'll say is like what I see a lot of jiu-jitsu players and people in MMA in general or just martial arts, they want to do too much within each session. And so for you guys, when you guys come in, I just want to build your ability to be more powerful and to be stronger. And I don't try to make it like a simulation so much. There are times where I get specific, like when we're doing that like kind of double leg workout. But I think a lot of times these guys, they mix conditioning with their strength work. They mix and match so many different things because they want to be specific. Whereas for you guys, I just want you to get stronger. And like, it might not be specific in that time, but you know, when you're ready to compete for ADCC, like these past 3-4 weeks, it's not like you're really building strength or doing anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the exact way to look at it. The weight room is meant to get stronger. It's not really meant to like simulate the movements in training. That's what training's for.
Yeah, like you guys get enough stuff on the mats. You get enough specific stuff on the mat. But yeah, so like the power clean, guys, like power clean, squat, deadlift, bench press, all of these things, they allow you to create more force. The reason why that's valuable is because you might be able to do more volume of training, right? Because the more force you can create, the less force you'll have to use on the same body weight opponent, right? The less energy it will take because you have more capacity to do that. So you can continue training and you can do it safer. So something like a power clean, like this is not that difficult of a movement and it's not that strenuous. And William, I think you've done like 110 kilos.
Yeah, I think 110 was what I worked up to before I went on like a deload.
I don't know. It wasn't that hard to teach you guys how to do a power clean. You're athletes. You know, I think so many people, they want to say that it's not specific enough or it's too dangerous or it's too technical. It's not that technical.
You're just picking up the weight and bringing it up to like shoulder height, really.
So this is the stuff where I kind of am like, I don't know, it's just a little bit of a waste of time.
I mean, he's stacked, right? So, I mean, it's bound to do it's doing something for him. And he's, you know, one of the best ever. But, yeah.
Look, this stuff is more conditioning based. It's a way to get some sort of stimulus that you might not be able to get on the mats. But is it creating adaptations that are more valuable, or is it more of like a mental thing, right? Like I think the bike sprints are very important because they will create adaptations. But when we do things like the ropes and all of these other things, it's like, okay, you would probably rather, having already spent 20 hours on the mats per week, if I was to say this is going to give you the same feel as what you would feel on the mats, but you're going to be in a garage with music playing and you're going to be with the boys. You're going to want to do the second one, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is like a burnout stage that comes to like if you're just training all the time, sometimes the last thing you want to do is do like the hardest round of your life and get your heart rate up to 190, you know. But you can easily do that on the bike. It's not as it's not as fatiguing with like the whole like taste, you know, of training.
Yeah, it's like we find that in weightlifting a lot. People do complexes when they don't have to, right? Like it's not any more beneficial than something else. But what it does is it keeps your mind fresh. It doesn't allow you to burn out, like William said. I think burnout is actually a great term because you guys can get absolutely burnt out. What is your training schedule like these days?
These days isn't like, I mean, we're pretty close to ADCC, so it's been pretty specific. I've been doing a ton of cardio because I'm trying to cut my weight down, trying to get the calories like out a lot more than the calories in, so I can get my weight down. So it's been I've been doing a lot of running, a lot of swimming, ton of sauna, and a lot of drill sessions. Not a whole lot of live training right now, just to avoid injury because it's just such an important event that I don't want to miss out on because hurting myself in the last week. I'm not going to get any better at jiu-jitsu in 1 week. So I just got to like push outside the gym, do a lot of running, I've been doing bleachers, trail runs, tons of sauna, and swimming's great because when I'm super sore, I can still swim.
Leading up, what was your hardest week? What did that look like?
Oh man, hardest week was rough. It was like, I guess Monday started off with swimming and sauna in the morning. And then I got to rest a little bit before I hit wrestling practice in the evening. And right after wrestling practice, it was heading straight over to Leander High School to run some bleachers. And then Tuesday was just like 2 really major no-gi classes with swimming in the morning. Again, I swim every morning that week. I would do like 5 days a week. Wednesday was swimming and running and then another jiu-jitsu session in the evening. Thursday was 2 jiu-jitsu sessions and a swimming session. And then Friday was a run and a jiu-jitsu session at night. And that was like really tough because I'm doing 10-minute rounds in each one of these jiu-jitsu sessions. And I'm trying to hit like as many of them as possible. Friday night, I hit 6 10-minute rounds at the end of my week, and it was just miserable.
The no-gi sessions, so like Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's like sometimes you guys come in to drill, then you do weights, then you do class, which you always end up with hard sparring. Then you go home, then you might do something else, and then you guys come into another class, and that class usually ends in hard sparring as well. It seems like you guys come back for that second session, you're like, oh, we're all going to go easy, and then the rounds come along, and then the music's loud, and then everyone's just going just as hard as they said they wouldn't go.
Yeah, it's just too fun not to like dive into it. Like that's one thing that kind of keeps me going during like the hard sessions is it's just I have a blast. You know, you get out there with your friends and like you don't want them to take you down or you don't want them to like hold you down, so you go a little bit extra harder. And there's like that competitive aspect. And since it's so fun that you can kind of push a little bit harder than you could, I think if I was just like running by myself or something, you know.
All right, William. Well, thank you for coming on the channel. We're all going to be watching. You guys better watch William and cheer for him at the ADCCs. What's your, where can we find you?
You can check me out on Instagram at tacket_jujitsu. I also have a YouTube channel. It's just my full name, William Tacket. Thanks for having me on, dude. Appreciate it.
So this is going to be the biggest jiu-jitsu tournament yet. The biggest event around grappling that has ever existed will be happening this week, ADCCs. William Tacket will be in the 77 kilo class. It is stacked, and I can't wait for him